It's time for the Ron and Brian podcast. Get ready to fill your ears with the latest news, politics, current events, and whatever else we feel like talking about this week. And now, your hosts, Ron and Brian.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this special Tuesday night edition of the Ron and Brian podcast, episode 351. If I can introduce folks or reintroduce folks to the gentleman to my left here, that's Brian. He is the aforementioned Brian of the Ron and Brian podcast. I feel some of you may not recognize him after all this time. Brian, why don't you let the people know about yourself since you've been MIA for a while?
I don't know what you mean by MIA for a while. We did a show a week ago. It's been 8 days, so I'm not really I'm confused as to why you feel that I need to reintroduce myself. Listen, I bring 49% energy. I bring 12% attention span. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. People are already in the group chat saying, what's up with the floating blue background, Ron?
You know, StreamYard gives us these new toys to play with. So I feel it's just something that we have to, screw around with from time to time.
Ron, is it also true that your wife gave you some new toys to play with?
No, I wish that were the case, but unfortunately not.
Sorry.
Allie asking if it's summer vibes. It's not quite summer yet, but it is almost.
Hot podcaster summer.
We are just about a month away from starting one of our favorite summertime activities. I don't want to play it too much because people say we use it too much, but we are very excited for summer to roll in, just as we are excited for the show to get rolling. Brian, are you ready to get things kicked off here?
I'm just glad I'm not in a closet anymore. That's the most important thing. I am live. I'm doing this show
out of the closet, back in the guest bedroom, ready to have some fun here tonight. And we're
ready to
start
go.
Off.
Ready to go.
We're going to start off with drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Proszę.
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
All right,
Drink of the week.
Ryan, what are you drinking this week?
This week I go all the way to Barcelona. One of my favorite beers when I was in Spain. This is the Adora Dam. This is a lager beer, which also claims that it is also gluten-free. Let me hold this up so you can get an idea of this beauty. Ron, check this out.
Clear.
Check this
Nice
freaking
head to
out.
it.
Listen, let me tell you a little bit about Dora. Dora was launched in 2006. It has since been recognized as one of the best crafted beers to remove gluten, obtaining the most prestigious world-renowned awards. It has got a golden color, as you can see. There are shades of amber, slight hints of green. It is clean. It is sparkling. The head is cream-colored and long-lasting. The abundant bubbles are delicate and lively. The generous aroma, fresh spices. It is coming in at a 5.4 ABV. Beer Advocate only gives it a score of 75, which does not say a lot. I'm going to drink this beer.
Let us know how it is from Barcelona.
It's a little bitter.
You look perplexed.
It's a bitter
I
beer.
thought it was your favorite beer.
When I was over there, it was my favorite beer. But I'll tell you something. Once you're in Barcelona and you're with your people speaking Catalan, the local food just really dominates the palate when you're eating. So you don't really taste the beer very much. All those mixes of herbs and spices. It's the Barcelona way.
It's the Barcelona flavor. He's taking a second sip. Will the second sip be any better than the first?
It's not bad. I'm going
right.
to tell you something. I do have another Carlsberg lager in my fridge. I might be breaking that out
There
pretty
you go.
soon. Ron,
Yes.
What did you bring to the table for drink of the week?
So this week, kind of in honor of you, I guess, in honor of your big return, making it back to do the podcast, I saw this in the cooler at my local Giant, had to try it out. Yes, it is a Jack and Coke in a can, pre-mixed
Oh,
for you. It is 7% alcohol. Let's see if it says anything else about it. Nope. So I'm not a huge Jack and Coke fan. This is more your foyer, but I figured why not give it a try and see how it is.
take a sip. Take a sip. Let me know what you think.
It's actually not bad. It is
Yeah,
not a lot of Jack in there. More Coke than
sure.
Jack, which would explain the
Okay.
7%. But as far as a pre-canned beverage,
Yeah.
not too shabby.
I think they get the mix right. You really when I'm drinking Jack, when I make myself a Jack and Coke at home, the it skews a little heavy on the whiskey, a little light
Right.
on the soda. But the proper way to make it when you're out and about is you don't want to go home poor. That's why I think you're probably getting a much more legitimate Jack and Coke right there in that can than you would get here in the Ivory Tower.
It's similar to if I was at a bar versus the the day laborer that
Right.
gets forced up to your place to 10 bar.
No, that's not right.
No? All right,
No.
fair enough. Well, let's keep it going then with beef of the week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
You know what's bothering me, Ron? Flying back from Miami to Newark Airport.
Ooh.
This is going to come across like just
It feels like a first world problem.
it's going to be a first world problem. It's
Okay.
going to be just very clear that I've been doing traveling and Ron, when you've done as much airplane travel as I have, you'll one day just get out of taking the Greyhound and Trailway buses to your various business meetings. But when you do as much travel as I do, you start to realize just what a well-oiled machine the aviation industry is, not just here in America, but worldwide. One thing falls down and the house of cards crumbles, the dominoes start tipping, and planes start getting delayed. That's what happened to me and my lady this past Sunday. We were supposed to be on a somewhat early flight getting us back to Newark early afternoon. Wake up about an hour after we wake up, get an email from United. And keep in mind, they know that I'm a 49% owner of this podcast. I'm not just some like Joe Schmo chump. They know that this is something that I need, to be back for. Hey, you're going to be on a 6:45 plane.
Well, that doesn't work.
No. They're not going to be able to fly me from Miami to West New York in 45 minutes. So I realized immediately this is not going to go well with the podcast fans. I know my champ is understanding. My champ's going to be like, understood, enjoy that extra time in the sun. Maybe you can, go visit the Bop House. But no, I did not go visit. However, we get to the airport and now that 6:54 flight is now at 7:20. Well, we got pushed back a little bit. Got pushed back again. That flight doesn't take off until almost 9 p.m. We landed in Newark close to midnight. I got home. It was at 1, and I was at my desk on a Monday morning, 8 a.m. So I'm still playing catch up on my sleep schedule here, people. But it's you plan your life and you've got to travel, but the aviation industry is just dropping the ball in delivering me here safe on time.
According to Johanna, apparently it was announced publicly that Newark will experience delays until July due to shutting down their biggest runway. So it clearly you didn't do the work, Brian, and the work is so important, Brian.
Ron, stop telling me that the work is so important. I put the work in. What I don't do is Google the name of my airport to just see what's going on there.
You need to stay, your finger needs to stay on the pulse. The pulse
My finger,
of what is going on.
Listen, I will take my finger out from right back here where I keep it all times.
All right.
Ron,
Yes.
what's bothering you?
So my beef, ironically enough, I feel this is kind of a first world problem beef as well. My beef this week. My beef is with Lowe's, the home improvement store. So I finally broke down and purchased a Blackstone griddle for my backyard.
Oh, you elite suburban scum. Let's talk about it.
So this will become my entire personality for the remainder of my adult life.
Sure.
But they had a special. It was on sale, free assembly, free delivery. How can you beat that, Brian? How can you beat that? So it gets delivered on, when was this? I think Thursday or Friday, one of those 2 days. And so you got to season the griddle top, Brian. Before the first time you can cook it, you have to season the griddle top.
How does one season the a Blackstone?
So you fire up both sides, you fire up the burners, you let it heat up for like 10 minutes, then you put a little layer of oil on, you move that around, wait till it burns off, and you do that like 4 or 5 times, just like you would season like a cast iron pan, for example.
Sure. Okay.
So I fire it up, I hear all the burners click and go off, and I wait like 10, 15 minutes, and then on the right-hand side, that is at temperature, the left-hand side is not. I look and I see that the burners are not firing properly on the left-hand side. So I'm like, clearly this is an issue. Don't know if it's a broken piece or if it wasn't assembled correctly. I'm like, I'll just hop on the Lowe's app and say, can you send somebody out to fix this? So they won't fix it, but I have to wait for it to get replaced now. My new one will arrive tomorrow, which seems very wasteful to me. Like, just send somebody out, fix the damn burner. But I had to wait almost a week to get my new Blackstone grill. I wanted to make breakfast on my Blackstone on Sunday morning, Brian. I was going to shred up some potato. I was going to make a hash brown, some eggs, some bacon. And instead I had to cook inside like a common person.
How many TikTok videos will you be making about different meals to show while you're making it? Because if I do remember, early stage pandemic, I very much got into watching videos of people cooking on the Blackstone. You got the two little not spatulas. What do you
I bought the kit. So I've got a multitude of spatulas, scrapers, spray bottles. I've got the presses, I've got tongs. I'm ready to cook. I'm ready to cook, Brian. Let them cook. I'm thinking about doing like a YouTube series with my Blackstone.
I would love that. I think that would be great. I mean, it's so great that you have so many Americans worried about the economic state of their reality. So many people, I think I read today on Drudge Report that more Americans are living paycheck to paycheck than not. And here we have our champ bragging. Not only did he buy himself a Blackstone grill, but he paid to have another human being putting it together for him, because our champ doesn't get his hands dirty. Oh, no. Our champ sits on his couch sipping an iced tea while a blue-collar man puts together his grill. Then he brags about how not only did he buy the grill, but he also bought the kit that it comes with, where they overcharge you for the 12 different pieces. You end up paying like $85 for something that's worth $50. You just put it together yourself. But no. And he also paid for delivery.
I buy
because
I'm
talking
product.
here, sir. I'm here, sir.
I buy a quality American product, and I pay a hardworking American to assemble it versus taking that job away from that hardworking American. And you have an issue with it. A man who, by his own admission, can't even show up on time to his own podcast.
What are you talking about? I was here early today.
Today, yes. Sunday, not so much. We'll beat up Brian more later on. Oh, and wait till after dark. Which, folks, if you do not subscribe to Patreon, today is the day to finally pull the trigger and sign up for it. Go to ronandbrianpodcast.com. Click in the upper right-hand corner to become a patron. For $10, you can join our After Dark, which will air at 9:30 live. And we are doing our monthly trivia contest. It's Can You Beat Brian? And it is a very specific topic. Brian doesn't know the topic, but it's very specific to Brian, and it will also tear him down at the same time. So I am very much looking forward to it.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, we're on a bad streak. We both have lost, I think, 3 or 4 months running. But listen, the money goes to a good cause. Brian, you did not send out the After Dark email yet?
I asked Matt to take care of it this week.
Anyway, while Brian stumbles through this show, let's get to our stories of the week. These are our stories that we capture. We want to make sure we don't miss covering them. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
Ooh. All right. My story of the week, again, addresses the Southwest Airlines airline industry. I know that I just sat there and bashed the aviation industry, but we're not done with it yet. It's not just the airline itself. It's also the passengers that we need to be aware of when flying domestically now. A female passenger on a Southwest Airlines flight to Chicago allegedly stripped down naked and pooped on her seat as the plane landed. So she waited till the end. Police officers were called to Chicago's Midway Airport on Saturday as the plane arrived with one passenger shocking the cabin by taking off her pants and emptying her bowels on a plane seat. Apparently, it is not clear what happened to the passenger. Obviously, the plane was taken out of service for cleaning. Ron, would you like to take a guess as to where this flight originated from?
Well, Brian, since I do the work and read these articles beforehand, I know that this flight originated from the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, so you're saying that one of your city mates just soiled an entire airplane?
Could it have been possibly a connection? Could it have been someone returning home to Chicago? Could it have been someone fleeing her own ivory tower to get somewhere? I don't know. This is your story. Give us the answers.
She lives in South Philadelphia. Another article said apparently she works for a hotel. And she does some type of sales / operations role. It's very gray exactly what her role is.
Extremely gray.
She did, as she was pooping, she did say something about, hey, here's your pro forma for you.
Is that it? Is that the story?
That's it. Ron?
Yes.
Just be careful, people. Be careful when flying. Ron, what's your story of the week?
Ironically, my story is about the airline as well. This is a Delta flight. It was an April 14th flight from Atlanta to Chicago. Those Chicago flights clearly jinxed right now, where apparently air travelers were forced to hold up the roof of a plane after its interior suddenly caved in. Content creator Lucas Michael Payne shared a TikTok clip that's garnered over 200,000 views saying, quote, "My homie was on a Delta flight and the ceiling collapsed. Here is a photo of the ceiling panel that had dropped down. You can see the wiring in the back there." Representatives for Delta Airlines told the New York Post, "Delta thanks our customers for their patience and cooperation. We apologize for the delay in their travels." The spokesperson said that the Boeing 717's panel was later affixed into place, so customers did not have to manually hold it during flight. There were no injuries, and the flight continued with about a 2-hour delay on another aircraft. They apparently also offered 10,000 miles to the passengers that were inconvenienced and had to hold the plane ceiling up. It feels like this just adds to all of the issues with the airlines that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we seem to have limited the crashes. Like, we haven't had a
Correct.
good plane crash in a while, but we're having people pooping on planes, people dying on planes, people sitting next to dead people on planes. And now the literal insides of the planes falling apart.
Doesn't make me feel good.
Well, but you're the one jetting off all over the country, Brian. You feel comfortable enough to do that.
Ron, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Let's remember, people, I live in an apartment. Ron has a private pool with his own Blackstone grill out on his deck. I remember he said, I don't know whether you've put into effect yet. That does not look like a Jack and Coke, young man. Whatever it is you're drinking. But I would like to say, is it true that you have electrified the fences around your house so that no stranger is able to get in unless you allow it?
It is not true. It is yet another fallacy coming from your mouth. And what I'm drinking now, Brian, and we talked about it before the show, I made my first voyage to an H Mart. Why have you never told me before about sparkling Chupa Chups?
Never had that before.
Quite refreshing beverage. I got the sparkling grape flavor.
Ooh, very good.
Let's see. What else? What are we going to get to here, Brian? What are the stories that we want to hit up?
Do we want to do the angry letter from a fan?
Oh, yeah. So you were saying, now I believe it was last week. Again, it's been so long since we did our last episode that my memory is fuzzy. But when we talked about, we did the drag queens are the problem.
Sure.
We spoke about an individual in the Philadelphia suburbs that was arrested for sexually abusing children. Turns out it was someone that I had worked with at a hotel back in the early 2000s.
Yes. By the name of Mohammed Alam. Does this man look familiar to you?
He does. Much older than I remember him, but yes, I do remember him.
Well, apparently, Ron, we received a lot of viewer and listener letters regarding this. People were generally outraged that you had a continued friendship with a accused child molester. It was so difficult sifting through these questions, the letters just demanding your resignation.
Really?
So absolutely. I mean, I stand with Ron. As 49% owner of the show, I believe Ron when he minimized his friendship with this man. I mean, I do remember there are many times, probably about 7 years ago, when Ron would blow off the show saying he was hanging out with his friend Muhammad. Said that he was going to be handing out candy to some kids at the hotel and he wouldn't be able to do the show. It was really hurtful back then. But, I believe you're innocent, Ron. But we did receive many letters. I just picked this one at random. I haven't even read it myself.
Completely.
I haven't read it myself. So I'm not even, I just think it probably is just a sample of what we've had.
Well, then please, by all means, I'm always open to feedback from our listeners.
This is from a former loyal listener. They were so offended by you that they could not even put your name on this. To the hosts of the Ron and Brian podcast, I am writing to you with a level of disappointment that frankly borders on disgust. For a long time, I've been a dedicated listener of the Ron and Brian podcast. I've appreciated the insightful commentary, the laughs, and the recommendations for things to watch. Mostly it's for Brian and all that he brings to the table. Ron's just all right. However, Ron's recent silence regarding his friendship with a former coworker who's currently an accused child sexual assault monster, Mohammed Alam, is not just disappointing, it's frankly offensive to your listenership. We, the audience, have invested our time and attention in your work. You say you do the work, but have you really? We've come to trust Ron's voice and his perspective, to then discover that he's maintained a close relationship over the years with someone who gave candy to several young children and then sexually assaulted them, leading him to be charged with such heinous acts, convicted whether or not. But to hear absolutely nothing from Ron about it is frankly appalling. Are we supposed to simply ignore this? Are we to believe that this association has no bearing on Ron's judgment or his values or his ability to remain podcast champion? Ron's refusal to even acknowledge his friendship with such a monster named Mohammed Alam, the situation, let alone offer an apology for the discomfort and betrayal many of us feel, is deafening. Excuse me, this is halftime. It's not just demanding that Ron sever all ties.
How much longer is this letter going to go on for?
2 more paragraphs. It's not just demanding that Ron sever all ties with this person. It's about acknowledging the pain and concern that he has caused the loyal listeners of this once wonderful podcast. A simple statement recognizing the gravity of the situation and perhaps expressing some understanding of why his audience is upset would have gone a long way. Instead, we got podcast silence, which feels like a slap in the face. Unless Ron addresses this issue publicly and offers a sincere explanation, I, for one, will be smashing the unfollow button and actively discouraging others from listening to his podcast. Ron's silence has spoken volumes, and what it says about his loyalty to a monster outweighs his respect for his audience. Brian, you are better than this. Please start your own podcast. Sincerely, a former loyal listener. Wow.
So I have a few comments. Number one, congratulations on only butchering a few of the words in that letter. Solid. My other question would be, if you do, Brian, in fact, start your own podcast, will you be on time for it? And third, I would like to just clarify, I was a coworker with this individual. Did not have any type of contact with him since he and I stopped working together, probably about 18 or 20 years ago.
Ron, your denials sound hollow on this side of the microphone.
Well, what are you going to do?
So, Champ, how do you plan on resolving this issue?
I think, sometimes you just have to understand that you can't please everybody. And so you just need to move forward.
I just want you to know, I tried very hard to Photoshop his face onto another photo of you and the politician that went to jail for crime. I just couldn't get the angle right. It looked terrible.
So
the fact that they were
you had time to attempt to Photoshop this image. You had time to concoct letters from a listener. But you did not have the ability to Google the Newark airport to find out that their largest runway is closed.
Priorities, Ron. This show comes above anything else in my life.
Except enjoying some infinity pools and high-end cuisine in Miami and Key West.
Don't be a hater, Ron. Don't be a hater.
Listen, I'm just, I try to speak truth to power whenever possible.
Well, I think it's your truth. All
right. Well, let's get back into some of the stories here. Sure. Brian, a climber airlifted with altitude sickness from near the peak of Japan's Mount Fuji last week returned to the slope and was rescued for a second time just 4 days later. Here's a stock photo of Mount Fuji overlooking Tokyo. Officials urged people to be aware of the harsh conditions at the country's tallest peak during its off-season. The climber was identified only as a 27-year-old Chinese student living in Japan. He made an emergency call on April 22nd and was airlifted, adding that his climbing irons were damaged. On Saturday, he returned to the mountain's Fuji Nomiya Trail, about 3,000 meters above sea level, to look for his cell phone and other belongings left behind. Just leave it, man. Just get yourself on your phone.
Walk away.
Another climber found him there, unable to move after he apparently developed altitude sickness for a second time.
Jesus. And they say Fuji's not even one of the tallest mountains. It's obviously the tallest mountain in Asia. but from what I have read, not considered to be technically that difficult of a
Now,
mountain to climb, yet he failed twice.
well, and apparently the hiking trails are only officially open from July to early September, but there is no penalty for hiking off season. There is also
Oh.
no charge or penalty when a climber needs to be rescued. But this particular case prompted an uproar on social media and generated calls for him to be charged, at least for his second rescue.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I'm going to have to say.
I,
You
s-
don't
I
get two shots at it.
Yeah, I still, and again, it's not just mountain climbing. I would go with spelunking, like these people that go in
Mhm.
caves and whatnot. I don't understand the attraction to things that people die at regularly.
Um, I mean, you're putting a Blackstone grill on your deck.
Are you saying Blackstone kills people?
Kills more people every year than sharks.
I would argue that number.
I'm going to do a little research. Oh yeah, it does. It kills a lot more people than sharks. Soon they'll be having Blackstone Week, where it'll just be white suburban, pasty white men who are think they know how to cook just simply because they watched the YouTube video, turning on their Blackstone. Now, is that a gas or is that electric?
That's propane gas, my friend.
Oh, great! You are going to definitely blow yourself up on that one. You got to be careful.
I'm going to be
You
out
need
there.
to.
I'm going to be making some fried rice. I'm going to be doing some Benihana type stuff. I'm going to make the little onion volcano, and then just up in flames. I'm going to go.
I just like the number of times you're going to have to practice that onion volcano, and I can just see your wife walking out into the out onto the deck, being like, "Be careful, Ron." It's just you're like, "No, come on, it's just a little bit more of the lighter, a little more of the lighter." Yeah, you got to be careful with that thing. Those things are
And then
lethal.
I'll stumble towards the pool engulfed in flames, but I'll collapse on the deck before I can hit the water.
But your chef's hat will still remain perfectly on your head.
God, let me hope my outside cameras are working so I can capture all of it when it happens. Because if I'm gonna go up in flames,
Right.
at least I want to make it TikTokable.
I'll put it on TikTok. I'll put it on Facebook, Instagram. I'll put it everywhere. Our numbers will skyrocket afterwards.
They will. They will definitely skyrocket. Brian, Canada elected a new prime minister yesterday, whereas their elections. And the surprising thing, maybe not so surprising at this point, the Liberal Party pretty much swept a number of elections, including the prime minister seat. This was after the Conservative Party had a solid 25-point lead going back to early February. But apparently, Donald Trump's continued rhetoric about making Canada the 51st state really swung the sentiment in Canada, completely shifted the outlook of their elections. Brian, what's your take on this from our friends to the north?
Listen, I'm just going to say, I think that you've first kudos for showing some level of sanity. The very fact that we for I want to say the past 100 years or so have always looked to Canada as one of our closest allies. To suddenly have a president come into DC who immediately starts talking about how we should be annexing Canada, its own sovereign country. How do you blame the Canadian people for being offended and upset? The very fact that there was such a move away from the conservative movement in Canada during the course of this election. I mean, you're looking at a national referendum on the U.S.'s election of Donald Trump. The U.S. is paying the price, and the rest of the world's benefiting.
I mean, do you think it's a foreshadowing of what we may come to expect in 2026?
Not at all, because the thing that Donald Trump has going for him is the Democratic Party is going to be his opponent, and they are a party that is absolutely useless and unable to put together any cohesive statement other than everything is just fine and Joe Biden's doing a great job.
Fair enough. I mean, we always have said, we've been doing this 38 years now, since our college days. And the one thing we have always said is never underestimate how easily Democrats can fuck things up.
They will fuck it up. It's just scary. It's utterly scary.
In the meantime, President Donald Trump blazed through his first 100 days, continuing with a pardon of a Nevada Republican politician who was awaiting sentencing on federal charges that she used money meant for a statue honoring a slain police officer for personal cost, including plastic surgery. This is Michelle Fiore, a former Las Vegas city councilwoman and state lawmaker who ran unsuccessfully in 2022 for state treasurer. She was found guilty in October of 6 counts of federal wire fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. She was out of custody ahead of her sentencing, which had been scheduled for last month. Federal prosecutors said at trial that she had raised more than $70,000 for the statue of a Las Vegas police officer who was fatally shot in 2014 in the line of duty, but had instead spent some of it on cosmetic surgery, rent, and her daughter's wedding.
I just again, I had this issue at the end of Truman's presidency, and I've had this problem with every presidency since. I don't understand the pardon. I don't understand the power of one person deciding that they get to override our judicial system. Biden got in there and just started pardoning his son. I don't understand Trump pardoning the January 6th people. And this one makes absolutely no sense.
Well, I think, for a candidate who is supposedly the law and order candidate, the law and order party, Republicans talk about how much they back the blue and back veterans and everything else, but he pardoned the January 6th rioters that, injured police officers. I mean, this woman
across the board
stole money.
Yeah. Correct.
From a police officer, basically. This is shocking as well, and maybe not. So she does not have a law degree, but back in 2022, she was appointed as a judge in Nye County, which apparently is very right leaning. So we'll just make the person who isn't even a lawyer a judge.
Right. It's wild. I genuinely don't understand. Listen, I've been following politics for most of my life. I don't understand the Republican Party right now. I do not understand what they represent, because it's not the Republican Party that I was aware of for years. There's the values that they have said that they represent. Clearly, they don't. And what it looks like they do is that if you are poor or you are a minority, it's okay for them to go after you. But unabashedly, and with no level of restraint.
And what's amazing is Trump has the lowest approval rating after his first 100 days of any president for the last 80 years. It has been the worst stock market performance for an incoming president since Nixon. And yet everybody just lines up and continues to kowtow to him.
Don't understand it.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Well, we've survived 100 days. What do we have left? Like 1,100?
Roughly, give or take. Math's not a strong suit of mine, but we'll go with that number.
We'll get there.
But let's talk about a real American, Brian. Camping World CEO Marcus Lemonis. Wasn't he on that show on CNBC where he would invest on
Shark Tank?
No, not Shark Tank, but he was like the investor or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. It'll come to me. But anyway, so he has shut down one of his North Carolina stores as he defied local politicians over the massive American flags flying over the locations. Here is the photo of one of these flags, ridiculously large. flying over his dealership in Greenville, North Carolina, which he closed down on April 18th. He said that he was forced to shut down operations at the smaller of the two locations after the city council sued him and the company for violating city ordinance with the larger-than-life flags and continues to impose fines. So he is knowingly going against the laws in his area, but feels he should get an exception because it's the American flag.
Correct. And then instead of paying the fine or swapping out the flag, he just closes his business.
Right.
Like
Now,
there's no middle ground. He doesn't go, well, I'll pay the fine. I'll gladly pay the fine every day and I'll keep it going because, people will support me. But because I'm a true patriot, he just goes, well, I guess if I can't fly a flag that's the size of Wyoming, then I'm just going to go out of business.
So this flag is almost the size of a basketball court. It's 3,200 square feet. And the pole it flies from is around 130 feet tall, almost double the current allowance.
That is ludicrously large.
What I don't get is how he found a contractor to actually install this thing, knowing that, I guess he found a contractor that didn't worry about pulling permits would be.
Yeah, I imagine it's not so hard down south.
But it's just, and again, I don't understand the need to be so over the top with,
Right.
I mean, it almost comes across as fake patriotism.
It is.
Like, oh, well, you're not as good, you're not as loyal an American as I am because you don't have a basketball court size flag hanging over your dealership.
Correct. It makes no sense. It is also it's the same mindset as the people who put American flags and stickers all over their car.
Yeah.
It's just, it is, we got it. We got it the first time. You love America. You don't need to have 15 different stickers on your car.
Now, of course, Camping World received the backing from evangelical leader Reverend Franklin Graham. He wrote on Facebook, quote, "These American flags are huge and I love it. The bigger, the better. Shame on the city governments that are trying to sue Camping World and get CEO Marcus Lemonis to take down the American flags he has flying over his businesses." This shows the insane rhetoric that people will go through these days to justify things that they know is wrong.
Correct.
I don't know, Brian. I lose faith in this country more and more every single week.
I don't know how much more you can have left. Well, listen, Ron. You've won this game called America. You've got a house in a lily white neighborhood in suburbia. You've got your own private pool, which you and your wife will be enjoying throughout the upcoming summer. Podcaster summer. You've got a Blackstone grill. I mean, you've won life. Let me guess, you have 2 cars. Elitist. You're an elitist.
I mean,
you have more in common. You have more in common with these evangelicals than you realize, sir.
I mean, from the man sitting in his ivory tower overlooking the New York City skyline.
Really? I overlook a construction site, which is about 12 feet away from me. There's nothing glamorous about this place.
I'm surprised you haven't sued somebody over that.
Oh, I tried.
Well, Brian, another feel-good story. A groundbreaking microscope at Harvard Medical School could lead to breakthroughs in cancer detection and research into longevity. That's a positive thing, right?
Of course.
However, the scientist who developed computer scripts to read its images and unlock its full potential has been in an immigration detention center for 2 months, putting critical scientific advancements at risk. The scientist, 30-year-old Russian-born Sania Petrova, worked at Harvard's renowned Kirshner lab until her arrest at a Boston airport in mid-February. She is now being held at ICE's Richwood Correction Center in Monroe, Louisiana, and fighting possible deportation to Russia. where she said she feels persecution and jail time over her protests against the war in the Ukraine. She spoke with NBC News from the Louisiana facility and said, "I would call it a grinding machine. We are in this machine, and it doesn't care if you have a visa, a green card, or any particular story. It just keeps going."
I thought we were only going after people south of our southern border. I did not know we were locking up Russians.
We are trying to deport everyone and anyone. I mean, she doesn't look like an MS-13 gang member, but you never know.
Well, this photo is before she got the tattoo right above her eyebrow that said "Familia."
Petrova's case and the detention of academics across the country has damaged the ability of universities in the United States to recruit and retain leading talent. The loss of talent could have dire consequences globally for the future of medicine and scientific discovery.
Yeah, that's not good.
And we've kind of talked about this in the past. Like the things that are happening in a very short period of time are going to have ripple effects through our nation and the world for decades to come.
Yeah, it's not good. It's definitely not good.
I mean, we deported what? 3 kids that were U.S. citizens that were born here in this country, ages 2, 6, and 7. There are children in immigration court having to defend themselves, again, as young as 2 years old, because the Trump administration took away the program that provided these children lawyers. I saw that there is a draft of another executive order to defund the suicide hotline in this country, primarily because of the support it provides to the LGBTQ plus community.
Yep. Mind-boggling. I mean,
I don't even know.
But we don't want to tax the billionaires.
No.
We don't want to tax the billionaires. Let them, enjoy the fruits of their, I don't know, can we say hard work?
I'm not even sure what to say. I
don't think we can say that whatsoever.
You've depressed me, Brian, and now I'm
sorry.
sad. That's all right.
Sorry.
We have to keep going. We have to plow through. Can we talk about another piece of crap here? I got to find his photo real quick. I think we were talking before about Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith.
Sure.
Let me get his photo up here. So he is the Lieutenant Governor of Indiana. And so apparently there was a new bill passed in the Indiana Senate. During the debate, the Senate Democrats had compared the bill to the historic 3/5 compromise from the Constitutional Convention. Brian, you are a historian. You are the historian major of our show. Can you give people a quick breakdown as to what the 3/5 compromise was?
If I remember correctly, Ron, sometimes I acknowledge I play a little loose with the facts, but if I remember correctly, this was when the North and Southern states were fighting over how to incorporate the slaves into the U.S. population, trying to figure out how to make them count. The South did not want them to count as people towards the population. They didn't see them as such. The North demanded that they were. And somebody came up with the idea that they be counted not as a whole American citizen, but as 3/5 of one. So more than half, but not quite 3/4.
Not quite a full person. Well, apparently, Lieutenant Governor Beckwith got upset about the 3/5 compromise, not because he disagreed with the argument, but he said that it was never about meaning that slaves were less than a full person. He called the compromise historic.
Really?
And yeah, he said that people should have celebrated it. The North stood up to the South. He said it was, it was a great thing. And so obviously this has caused a lot of negative press with many groups and religious leaders calling on the governor to ask the lieutenant governor to either apologize or resign. I doubt either of those things will happen.
Unlikely.
However, another story that also came out this week, turns out the lieutenant governor signed a no-bid contract with a law firm that has close ties to his church. His church will pay this law firm, I think, a couple $100,000 a year over the next 5 years for representation.
Well, that's really convenient.
I mean, it feels improper.
Agreed. Very improper.
Let's see, what other stories do we got here? I got a question for you, Brian. It's a very important question, one that I want to address before we get out of here. What are you watching?
I started to watch the first couple episodes of Adolescence on Netflix. I assume you've watched it?
Yes, I have.
Knocked out the first 2 episodes. I know I'm not there. I'm not watching things when they first come out. I'm usually a couple weeks behind. This was a British story of a teenage boy that is arrested for murdering a female classmate. And the police investigation into it, the thing that kind of the spin on this show is that each episode seems to be filmed in one take with nonstop camera work. I'm sure there's some editing that I can't pick up on, but the idea is just it's this continuous nonstop film. So far, real good. Can't wait to finish it. Also watched, got caught up on Righteous Gemstones on Max. I don't know if I know you're a Danny McBride fan. Anytime he is in a cast with Walton Goggins, John Goodman, that other guy. I mean, it's just so good.
Adam Devine.
Yes. I'm very much enjoying that show. The lady, not so much.
It's an acquired taste, I think. It's not everybody's cup of tea, if you will.
Yes. See, Janelle gets it. It's about baby. It's about Uncle Baby Billy.
That's right.
Uncle Baby Billy. What a
Baby
great
Billy's
character.
Bible Bonkers.
Bible Bonkers. It's teachers. I need $2 million and an 8-ball. Oh,
Who's going to get me some cocaine and $2 million?
I said to my lady, last night, I was like, if they made a spinoff just of Uncle Baby Billy, I would be more excited about that show than Righteous Gemstones. And she just looked at me and then just walked away. She'll watch that episode usually until there's a naked man running across the screen. When she sees a penis on this, she's like, "Why are you making me watch this?" And she gets up and leaves.
How often does your lady just look at you and walk away in a given week?
Jesus, week. I thought you were going to. How many times in a day does she do that? I would say at least once or twice a day. I get a disappointed look from her.
Fair enough.
And it's when I'll be signing up on pay-per-view for the first season of Teen Gifs. Teen Jesus. Teen Jesus. Oh, such the big white puffy wig that he wears. Papa Bonkers. Oh, what a great character. Baby Billy is such a great, and I'm so happy because like when that show came out, I was like, I really didn't get it. I stopped watching it originally. I came back and then I just immediately connected with that character. Like, this is one of the greatest characters on television in history.
I have to say, I did fall off of that. I might need to go back and give it a rewatch.
Ah, it's good. It is good stuff. Ron, you asked me. Let me hold the mirror up. What are you watching?
Watched a couple of movies this week. Not much out TV wise, but watched Last Breath. This was on Peacock. So it is a film starring Woody Harrelson, Simu Liu, Finn Cole, and Cliff Curtis. It is a remake of basically it's a feature film remake of a documentary regarding a group of deep sea divers who raced to rescue a stranded diver after an accident.
Okay.
First thing I loved about this movie, hour 30 minutes. Perfect
Ooh.
length for a movie. Didn't
Yes.
fuck around in any way, shape, or form. Well done, well acted, straight and to the point. But just a crazy story about these people that go and do these deep sea dives to work on
Sure.
the natural gas lines and things under there. What was even crazier, so this guy, right, gets trapped underwater, trapped at the bottom of the ocean after an accident. He's got
Right.
10 minutes of emergency oxygen,
Ooh.
goes without oxygen for 29 minutes.
What?
They rescue him. He has no brain damage, no long-lasting effects.
Okay.
Like, they're still to this day not quite sure. They think it was a combination of the cold temperature and the pressure and everything else, but went almost a half hour without oxygen. Then 3 weeks after this accident, he goes back to finish the dive and finish the work that they had to call off because of the accident.
Why would he go back to complete the work?
Because the work is so important, Brian. But that was his job. He was a diver, and he wanted to finish it. I would never step foot in water again.
Correct. I'd be
like, nope, I'm done. I got lucky.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Same. Same.
And then also watched The Accountant 2, the sequel to the Ben Affleck movie, The Accountant, which came out. That was a while ago. I think it was like 15 years ago. The Accountant came out. I liked the first movie. I don't know about you.
I thought it was okay, but not great.
Yeah. This one, first of all, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Completely unnecessary for an action movie to be 2 hours and 15 minutes. The second thing, have you ever watched a movie that was part of a franchise and you said to yourself, you know what? I feel the script wasn't written for this franchise, but someone bought the script and adapted it just to plug in the characters from the franchise.
Oh, that's terrible.
I feel like it wasn't a bad movie, but
right.
It made no sense in relation to the first movie, with the exception of Ben Affleck and John Barenthal, and I think one other person bringing their characters from the first movie.
Yeah. Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's just rough.
If you're looking to waste 2 hours and 15 minutes, I'd go for it. But otherwise, I don't know.
Okay. Good to know.
That's all I'm watching. We're at this point. Like, I went through, like, we were trying to watch TV this weekend. Went through Paramount, went through AMC, Hulu, Netflix, Peacock, Max. Not a lot of good stuff out right now.
There really isn't. Well, it's summer. It's summertime. They're not releasing good stuff.
Let's see. Let's get to at least one more story before we get out of here. So this story involves a former Disney employee who is now going to be doing 3 years in jail because he hacked these menus at the park. And he changed the menus. He put some profanities on there. The gentleman's name is, hold on a second, Michael Schur. A Florida resident, sentenced to 3 weeks, ordered to pay nearly $690,000 in restitution after he pled guilty to 1 count of computer fraud and 1 count of aggravated identity theft. He altered the restaurant menus by falsifying allergen information, printing profane information. And all sorts of things. Now, apparently, Disney managed to identify and remove all the menus before they were shipped to restaurants. But I guess apparently because of the cost to reprint everything, but 3 years seems kind of excessive.
That does seem like a very long time. In my opinion, that seems like a long time.
Yeah. So apparently he locked out at least 14 Disney employees out of their accounts. He used a bot to attempt almost 100,000 logins to their accounts.
Wow. He seemed like he was pissed off.
A little bitter. I mean, I could see that. He got fired in June, apparently, of last year for some reason, and got upset.
Ooh, that's rough.
So,
I'm glad it's not me.
I mean, don't do the crime, Brian, if you can't do the time.
Listen, I don't do the crimes ever.
Speaking of crime, what else did we have in our crime story? Oh, we have an update to that story we covered, I think it was a week or two ago, about an individual who was seen sexually violating a dead body on the New York
Ugh.
City subway.
Gross.
Well, an individual was arrested for that act. Felix Rojas, age 44, was charged with rape nearly 3 weeks after he allegedly assaulted the body of a dead man on an R train near the Whitehall Street station. According to the NYPD, the victim was identified as 37-year-old Jorge Gonzalez, who mysteriously died on the train and then was allegedly targeted by Rojas. Rojas turned himself into police with his son this past Sunday. I don't even know how that thought gets in your head. Like, all right, there's a dead guy. Now I'm gonna have sex with him.
Yeah, but do we know exactly what happened? Like, it says he performed a sex act. So did he take the guy's pants out and provide him a little? I just want some relief.
I don't know.
Did he jerk him off? Like, what was he doing to this guy?
So apparently Gonzalez boarded the subway around 8 o'clock. Not sure when he passed away, but he was.
Sure.
So what's even crazier is he was on the subway dead for 4 hours.
Correct.
With no one noticing. The suspect got on about 3 hours later, and then apparently, allegedly performed the act on the dead man shortly before midnight and fled the train around 12:08 a.m. That's some staying power right there. It's not immediately clear what led to Gonzalez's death, though his estranged wife said he dealt with alcoholism and cirrhosis. So
not
just
okay.
Just a sad story. Brian, defend your former city.
Oh, I can't defend it. That's why I had to leave. Listen, New York City used to be one of the greatest places on earth until recently, when it became the kind of city that a man could pass away on a subway and nobody would notice. It became the city where you could die, people would not notice that you're dead, and somebody would walk by and perform a sex act on you. I can't live there. That's not a city where I want to be.
But you're there every day, though. That's the thing. Like, you don't live there, but you're there daily.
Don't judge me. You can't judge me. You don't know me. Yeah, I do.
You don't know my
work.
pain.
I do work in New York City, and I'm going to tell you something. I have ridden that subway for hours at a time. Not once has anybody walked up and performed a sex act on me. I mean, New York, get your shit together.
Maybe you got to pretend you're dead. Maybe that is. Maybe that's the angle you've been missing.
It's not a bad idea.
Going out to Kansas City, a crazed patient hacked a paramedic to death inside his ambulance while he was taking her to the hospital. And she had just been released on bail for allegedly biting a cop days earlier.
Not good.
Graham Hoffman, a 29-year-old paramedic and firefighter with the Kansas City Fire Department, died Sunday while responding to a welfare check for a woman found wandering along a highway and bleeding heavily from her hand around 1 a.m. The woman, 39-year-old Shanetta Boswell, initially refused help from Hoffman and police, but then changed her mind and agreed to be taken to the hospital for treatment. On the way there, she allegedly attacked the paramedics. Cops that were following the ambulance reported that it suddenly veered off the road and the driver left out in a panic and opened the back doors to help his colleague while shouting, "She has a knife." Inside, Hoffman was found bleeding heavily from the chest. Authorities said Boswell attempted to fight police and drive off with the ambulance, biting an officer on the arm as he drew his weapon. That's the second cop she bit. As officers fought to subdue her, the ambulance driver attempted to revive Hoffman, but it was too late, and he was later pronounced dead after being rushed to a nearby hospital. Boswell was charged with first-degree murder and is being held on $1 million bond, and also faces charges of resisting arrest and third-degree assault.
Jeez, that is rough.
again, I mean, it reflects the severe mental health issues we have in this country, and the lack of resources, and the even dwindling resources now that federal funds are being cut off to so many of these agencies to help individuals like this.
Yeah, that's the scariest part of them all. It's just,
well, Brian,
it's just a wild world we live in now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's about time for us to wrap up. We need to get ready for After Dark, as we mentioned earlier. Normally it's on Sunday. Normally all of this is on Sunday. If it weren't for some special snowflakes that couldn't make it on Sunday. But tonight, 9:30, we will have After Dark. We will have Can You Beat Brian? A great topic for our trivia contest tonight. Nobody knows it. Brian doesn't know it. Our contestants don't know it. It will be revealed in a short 25 minutes. And then if we have time, the sexy stories that After Dark has come to be known for. I mean, we've got we've got more OnlyFans stories. We've got Gen Z bringing back a sexy porn fetish. We've got a Harry Potter actress that made an OnlyFans for hair fetish content. This is the type of stuff that you are missing if you do not belong to our Patreon. Go to ronandbrian.com. Go to the upper right-hand corner. Click on Become a Patron. And again, $10 a month. I mean, you could run out to Starbucks. You'd get yourself one of those iced latte matcha oat milk drinks. It's going to run you $8. For a couple bucks more, you get a full month's worth of entertainment. You get some fantastic swag, and you get to join us live After Dark coming up in just 24 minutes now.
Sign up now. You got plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Brian hasn't even sent out the email to our existing Patreon subscribers. So if you join now, you have the chance to get that email just in time to find the link to join us at 9:30 tonight.
It's messed up, Ron. It's messed up.
I love you, my friend. I kid you, buddy. I love.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this up and get ready for After Dark?
No, I got to go prepare for our After Dark.
All right.
Join our Patreon, people.
All right.
Also, not only that, before we go, just one last thing. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Send it to a couple friends. Spread the word. We are on episode 351. This is a fine oiled machine. Never a hiccup.
Smash that follow button. Smash it.
Comment, like it. Spread the word. We should be growing.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, folks, for joining us. Patreon, folks. We will see you. Brian, are you going to be available on Sunday? Are we back to normal time on Sunday?
I'll be back on normal time.
All right. Outstanding. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. We will catch you all next week.
Thank you for joining us on the Ron and Brian podcast. We're live each week on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find prior episodes, links to our social media, and everything else Ron and Brian at ronandbrianpodcast.com. See you again next week.